Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're taking on a really wild mission. We're trying to answer the ultimate question, like when did the universe actually begin?
Right, it is a huge question, and I'm glad to be here to unpack it with you.
Yeah, so usually, when we ask science that question, we look for a big bang, a fixed point in time where someone can just point to the math and say, day zero.
We definitely prefer our timelines to be neat, with a clear start and a clear finish. But when we dig into chapter 13 of the Gita, well, that neat little timeline just evaporates completely.
Yeah, the text gives us this truly mind-bending answer, and the answer to when the universe began is, well, it didn't.
Exactly, it didn't. The text explains that both material nature and living entities are entirely beginningless.
Wait, beginningless? I mean, I can wrap my head around, like, an eternal consciousness, but what about everything else, the physical stuff we actually touch and see?
Well, to really grasp how the universe has no beginning, we have to split reality into two very distinct categories.
Okay, lay them out for me.
First, you have the observer. This is Brahman. And Brahman belongs to the plane of absolute reality. It has no beginning because it is the only truth present at all times, purely conscious, eternal, and joyful.
Right, so that is the observer. What is the second category?
The second is the observed. That is the universe itself. And crucially, our physical body and our mind. They are fundamentally inert.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because if my body is just made of inert stuff, space, air, fire, water, earth, how am I having this thought? Look at your hands right now as you're listening to this.
Yeah, it is a crazy thing to think about.
Right. The flesh and bone you are looking at is completely inert matter, according to the text. So where is the spark of life coming from? Are we just like a mirror catching sunlight?
That is literally the perfect analogy. Because a mirror doesn't actually have its own light, right? It only borrows illumination.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The observed universe doesn't possess any consciousness of its own, but human minds have this highly unique capacity to act exactly like that mirror.
So we are just reflecting the consciousness of the observer, of Brahman.
Yes, precisely. That reflected consciousness is what gives your physical body the illusion of life and sentience.
But if we're just reflecting a larger consciousness, why do we feel so stubbornly independent? I mean, I feel very much in control of my own life right now.
Well, that specific combination, right? The inert body and mind mixed with that reflected consciousness. That creates the ego.
The ego, right.
Yeah, and the ego falsely believes it is this independent doer. It goes out into the world, it acts, and it experiences pleasure and pain based entirely on past actions. And here's the key. Those actions actually determine how well we reflect that consciousness.
Wait, hold on. How does an action change your reflection?
Think of a dull brass object. If you take the time to polish it with chemicals, it becomes highly reflective. In this context, our minds are polished by our actions across lifetimes.
So doing selfless deeds, like, clears away the dirt of selfish desires.
Exactly. It allows the mind's natural principle of purity and clarity to dominate. The cleaner the mind, the better it reflects Brahman.
That makes total sense. But, here is where it gets really interesting. The ego taking credit for the reflection is straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Oh, I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah, think about the robots in the Terminator.
Yeah.
I mean, they operate entirely on borrowed artificial intelligence, but they reach a point where they suddenly claim total independence from their creators.
They completely forget they're just programmed metal. They start acting like they own the place.
Right. And humans do the exact same thing with the universe. We take this borrowed consciousness, and suddenly our ego is like, I am an independent creature. We completely forget the source of the light.
We really do. And meanwhile, Brahman remains totally uninvolved in all this everyday action.
Wait, really? It isn't like sitting there judging the robots?
Not at all. Brahman acts as the intelligent cause of creation, lending consciousness without any personal involvement.
How does that even work in practice?
Imagine a sleeping king. The king doesn't actually have to issue orders. Just his mere presence in the castle empowers his ministers to rule the kingdom.
Oh, I love that visual.
Yeah, Brahman just is. And the illusion of the material universe does all the rest.
So we had the material universe, this inert illusion, the lower nature, and the conscious observer, Brahman, just caught in this infinite, beginningless cycle.
Yes, the universe just manifests and dissolves over and over again, all for the enjoyment of the ego. It challenges everything we assume about who is actually in the driver's seat.
It really does. Which leaves you with a pretty wild question to ponder as you go about your day.
Definitely.
If your ego, your decisions, and your entire sense of independent doing are really just borrowed consciousness like a robot that completely forgot it was programmed, who is the you that is actually listening to this deep dive right now? Are you the mirror or are you the light?